Hello bankers, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. आशा करता हूँ आप सभी लोग काफी अच्छे होंगे. So there are very few days remaining for your upcoming examination. So now it is time for practice. Okay. So for your practice itself, we have started a series based on mini mock. So where we are going to cover number of set of questions which will definitely help you in your upcoming examination, right? So कैसे हैं सभी लोग, एक बार जल्दी से आपका बता दीजिए कमेंट्स के थ्रू. एंड आई होप यू गाइज गॉन थ्रू दी कॉन्सेप्ट पार्ट. ठीक है, सो वी ऑलरेडी डन विद आवर कॉन्सेप्ट वीडियोस. There are few topic remaining, so which we are covering on regular basis. So now time for practice. So here we have started a series, and we already done with the module wise session also, right? So I did for module C and D, and for module A and B, Disa ma'am is going to take session on this Dasara occasion, right? So now every day I'll come up with a set of questions, around 25 to 30 questions, and based on these particular questions we will refine your knowledge and we will build your concept as well. Okay, so the only request is do share this particular session with your fellow bankers so they can also take advantages of these particular classes. And believe me guys, like we have past experiences of last 3 to 4 years, around 8 to 9 set or session of examination. So you will see that particular experience in these particular videos, right? But concept videos are must. So we do have compilation module wise as well, right? So you can go through those particular one. So let's start the discussion. So this is our Telegram group at the rate JIB CIB Prep official. So you can join this particular one. And if you are new to our channel, please do subscribe this. Okay, because we are going to conduct number of session in the upcoming time duration. So we will start this particular session with very first question on your screen. So this is our very first question for the day, and I hope you will be able to answer this question. Okay. So now the question is, which of the following statement accurately describe the money supply, right? So money supply, there is a concept, there is a unit in your course curriculum, right? So where we have M0 or M1, M2, M3, narrow money, broad money, this particular concept as well, right? So money supply only account for physical currency, wrong. Money supply refer to the total volume of money held by the public at a particular point in time in an economy. This can be correct. Money supply is controlled by commercial bank. It is not only controlled by commercial bank, it is majorly controlled by RBI. Then commercial bank, they also part of credit creation, right? Money supply is independent in a country. No, so what will be, it's a kind of like commercial bank, they also increase the money supply, the borrowing for the purpose of lending or through a debit card, through credit cards, or through loans and others, right? So what will be your correct answer? Option B will be right answer for this one. Money supply refer to total volume of money held by a public at a particular point or point in time in an economy. This statement is correct. The money supply does indeed refer to the total amount of monetary asset available in an economy at a specific point in time. Next one. Which of the following statement is incorrect? So you have to find out the incorrect statement. The question is generally based on inflation. Very easy one. So inflation refer to a general and sustained increase in average prices of labor of goods and services in an economy over a period. So it is simple meaning of inflation. This is true. Inflation is generally defined as an increase in the prices of goods and services. Okay, as inflation increase, every rupee we own by a smaller percentage of goods and services, that is the effect of inflation. A moderate level of inflation is usually considered healthy for an economy as stipulate spending and investment. Country like India, so where we have as per the MPC committee, it is 4% to 4 plus 2% or minus 2%. Basically we follow a band of 2 to 6%, which is, this is also correct. That means hyperinflation is a very high and typically accelerating inflation can lead to a breakdown of country's monetary system. This is also correct, right? So hyperinflation is simply we can say it is out of control inflation or extremely rapid inflation, ठीक है, जहाँ पे prices काफी तेजी से आपका बढ़ जाते हैं. Inflation result is an increase in real purchasing power of money. This is wrong. ठीक है, so it should be decrease. ठीक है, तो inflation क्या होता है? It is inflation. This course of action is inflation. जैसे market price was earlier 10 rupees, now it is got to 15 rupees. So this course of action in economics is defined as inflation. As inflation increase, every rupee we own or have, that purchase a smaller percentage of goods and services. So earlier for 1 unit we need to pay 10. Now for 1 unit you need to pay 15 rupees. So that's why option D is correct, because it is an incorrect statement about the inflation action, right? So I hope this is correct. This is clear to all of you, right? Which of the following step did the Reserve Bank of India take as a part of monetary policy response to a global financial crisis? So whenever we talk about global financial crisis, it was based on subprime lending 2007-8, and we always remember the bank which is known as लेमन ब्रदर बैंक. ठीक है, सो ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस को आपका काउंटर करने के लिए व्हाट वर द मेजर एक्शन व्हिच वर टेकन बाय आरबीआई? सो डिक्रीज इन रेपो रेट एंड रिवर्स रेपो रेट. ठीक है, so basically to decrease repo rate was the primary idea to increase the liquidity in the system. Reduction in CRR again, so it will increase the overall money supply. Conducting open market operation also. So what will be your correct answer? All of the above will be right answer for this one, right? So decrease in repo rate. If you decrease the repo rate, bank will get loan at lower rate of interest from RBI. So their MCLR, or that time it was known as base rate, that will come down, right? So it will increase the overall liquidity in the system. Reduction in CRR. CRR is a portion of NDTL that generally bank need to maintain with RBI in the form of cash. And RBI does not pay any interest on this particular one. So let's say the current CRR is 4.5%. तो अगर आप 100 रुपए बोरो करें, your NDTL is supposed at 100 rupees, so you have to deposit 4.5 rupees with RBI, right? And RBI is not going to pay any interest on that particular amount. So आपके पास earlier it was like 8%, 10%. तो कहीं ना कहीं आपका that is a pricing, though it is part of reserve system, which we generally kept for the protection of bank for any kind of stressful situation. But now this, due to that stressful situation, there is already recession in the market. So if you have to support the economy, so RBI they generally decrease that particular one. Okay? Conducting open market operation. Open market operation is generally known as buying and selling of government securities through RBI. तो उस दौरान भी आपका ये काफी ज्यादा कंडक्ट किया गया. Same as during the COVID also, right? COVID के दौरान भी ये सारी एक्टिविटीज आपको देखने के लिए मिलेंगे. Next one. In financial market, there exists an arrangement where funds are borrowed and lent for a very short period. Usually it is an overnight period. Overnight means 24 hours. It is typically used by bank to meet short-term liquidity needs. The interest rate on these funds fluctuate depending on market conditions, and there are no collateral requirement. This form of borrowing and lending is known as, it is called call money. ठीक है, so call money is usually for overnight. ये आपका किसके लिए होता है? Overnight. ठीक है, we have three interbank transaction: call money, notice money, term money. Call money for overnight, notice money for 2 to 14 days, and term money beyond 14 days, means 15 to up to 1 year, right? So term money और आपका 10. ठीक है, so call money, term money. Demand money is that payable on demands. ठीक है, reserve money, also known as high powered money or monetary base, is a total amount of money in an economy available for the multiplication of loan and investment by bank itself. Next one. In financial market, there are contract between two parties to buy or sell an asset at a specified future time at a price agreed upon today. These contracts are not standardized. That means they are customized by the parties and can be customized according to need of the buyer and seller. Such contract primarily used for hedging and traded OTC. So they are known as. So what will be your correct answer? The answer will be forward or swap. So out of the 4 given options, so forward will be correct answer. So forward, there are 4 type of derivative. They are further categorized among 2 parts. Okay, 4 type are basically forward, future, option, swap. Forward and swap are OTC contract over the kind. They generally get traded over the counter. So they are customizable. they are risky product. There is a counterparty risk involved in this because there is no intermediation from the exchanges. Future and options are exchange traded, so they have least risky because exchange stand the guarantee in that particular case, right? So this is the one. So forward contract will be correct answer for this one. ठीक है, तो आपको ना इसको समझना कैसे है, हमने मतलब आई स्पेंड अराउंड 1 hour 45 minutes इन योर डेरिवेटिव यूनिट विच इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर अपकमिंग एग्जामिनेशन. सो डू वॉच दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन, बिलीव मी. अगर आपने उसको अच्छे से पढ़ लिया तो उसके बाद आपको डेरिवेटिव को पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. ठीक है, सो go for that particular one. Next one. Businesses often need to manage their cash flow efficiently and sometimes seek assistance for handling accounts receivables. One such financial service allow businesses to sell their invoices to third party known as a factor in exchange for immediate payment, thus improving their liquidity. The service also include management and collection of receivables. The service which also help reduce administrative cost and efforts associated with the collection of debt is known as. Okay? So we have gone through a unit which is known as factoring and forfeiting and lease finance, right? So a bill discount, sorry. Okay? So what will be your correct answer? It is a case of फैक्टरिंग. ठीक है, इस क्वेश्चन को आप पहले तो यहीं से पकड़ सकते थे फैक्टर से. ठीक है, अ पोर्शन ऑफ बिल आपका बोला गया. ठीक है, फैक्टरिंग हमेशा क्या होता है, इट इज अराउंड 80 to 85% ऑन ओपन अकाउंट बेसिस. ठीक है, दूसरा फोरफिटिंग इज ऑलवेज एट 100%. ठीक है, ट्रांजेक्शन टू ट्रांजेक्शन वहां पे आपका डील होता है. ठीक है, सो इस तरीके से आपका जिसमें जाएगा. हायर परचेज इज लाइक इट्स जैसे हमने एग्जांपल लिया था ना कार का आपका. ठीक है, जैसे हम कार आपका लेते हैं तो कार में क्या होता है, सिंपली वी गेट द ओनरशिप, लाइक इवेंचुअली वी गॉट द ओनरशिप आफ्टर पेइंग द लास्ट ईएमआई. तो ऐसा हायर परचेज और लीजिंग वाज द वन यूनिट, फैक्टरिंग फोरफिटिंग एंड बिल डिस्काउंटिंग वाज द अनदर यूनिट. और ये बहुत important है. You will see number of question, at least 4 to 5 question based on these two units. So please go through that particular one, right? So factoring is a financial service where businesses sell their invoices to a third party, which is known as factor. Your bank is called factor in this case. Or in case of forfeiting, it is known as financier, right? So for immediate payment, which improve the liquidity, it is generally used by the companies for the working capital purpose, right? This service also include the management and collection of bills. So after that, so basically that factor who handle all the transaction or accounts or ledger of that particular trade itself. Leasing is आपका जहाँ पे we are paying kind of a rent, we are using someone else's asset, that someone is known as lessor and we are generally known as lessee, right? So as per accounting purpose, we have two major type of lease, operating and आपका finance lease. Apart from this, we have other type also like lease, sale and lease back, we have direct lease, capital lease, ऐसे बहुत सारे हमने पढ़े थे. ठीक है, forfeiting आपका is a financial service involving the purchase of receivable from exporters, a forfeiting agency or financier. The exporter receive cash immediately, but the forfeiting agency assume all the risk associated with that particular one. So this is with or without recourse, and this is always without recourse, and which is backed by LC. Fill in the blanks. In leasing, the ownership of asset remain with dash, while the hire purchase, the ownership eventually transfer to dash. Okay. First, a lease contract is dash where a hire purchase agreement include an option to buy. ठीक है, तो क्या होगा आपका करेक्ट आंसर इसका? It is आपका in leasing the ownership of asset remain with while remain with lesser, we can say. ठीक है, अगर हम इसको ऑपरेटिंग लीज की तरह कंसीडर करते हैं, ओनरशिप इवेंचुअली टू लेसी और आपका हायरी. लीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज आपका lease contract is dash where a hire purchase contract is, so it is a lease contract can be non cancelable. ठीक है, तो आपका अलग अलग उसमें हम उसको, और it can be cancelable in case of operational lease, but if you compare with this, it is kind of this, right? So lesser, lessee और non cancelable. lesser, sorry lessee नहीं होगा, होगा lesser से ही start. ठीक है, lesser, the lessee, cancelable. Okay, so I'll go with option A. ठीक है, let's see this one. Yes, हाँ, so option A is the right answer for this one. ठीक है, ये हमने काफी डिटेल में पढ़ा है. And do watch that foundation class. ठीक है, concept class इसके लिए आपको देखना पड़ेगा. A mutual fund that charge investors a sale commission when they buy a share is known as DAS fund. While a fund that does not charge any such fee is known as. तो हम लोग इनको किस तरीके से कैटेगराइज करते हैं? आपका लोड एंड नो लोड, ठीक है. सो लोड एंड नो लोड, ठीक है. लोड क्या होता है आपका? इनिशियल जो चार्जेस आपका अगर होते हैं, यूजुअली nowadays we do not have any this kind of charges, ठीक है. लोड चार्जेस आपके नहीं होते, सेलिंग पे आपका एग्जिट चार्जेस होते हैं, ठीक है. सो लोड और नो लोड आपका दैट कैन बी वन कैटेगराइजेशन. फ्रंट एंड एंड बैक एंड एक आपका होता है, ठीक है. सो अगर चार्जेस फ्रंट पे होंगे आपका while you purchase that one, तो that is front end, and back end is while you sell that particular one does, ठीक है. सो इस तरीके से आपको इसमें जो देखने के लिए मिलेगा. सो अ म्यूचुअल फंड दैट चार्ज इन्वेस्टर अ सेल कमीशन when they buy this one is known as load funds, while a fund that does not charge is known as no load. Load refer to a sale charge or commission that investor pay when they buy. Buy means front end load, and sometime when they sell it is known as back end load, ठीक है. Next one, gross domestic product is a comprehensive measure of economic performance of a country. It can be calculated using different approaches, majorly three approaches: income, expenditure, and production, right? The DAS approach calculates GDP by adding up all the expenditure or spending within economy, include consumptions, investment, government spending, and net export. On so first one will be your expenditure, ठीक है. पहला आपका expenditure होगा, ठीक है. DAS approach calculates GDP by adding up all the income earned by individual and businesses by adding up, like it is basically outcome of the factor income. Factor income means sources of income. Sources of income means land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. From land we generally get rent. From labor they generally get wages. Entrepreneurs they get profit, and capital that generally get interest. So it is income approach, right? So option 1 will be correct answer for this particular one. Next one, the reform of banking sector in India between 1992 and 2008 was critical phase in transforming the banking landscape in the country. This period saw significant changes like the introduction of prudential norms, improvement in technology, and efforts to increase transparency and competition. One of the pivotal reforms during the period was implementation of Basel norms, which primarily aim. So Basel norms का आपका, ठीक है. Basel norms which are generally provided by BIS. There is a bank called BIS, Bank for International Settlement, who generally establish a committee which is popularly known as BCBS, ठीक है. Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. इसके द्वारा Basel 1 आपका जो set of guidelines हैं, they get released in 1988. Basel 2 आपका कब आया था? 2004. And Basel 3 guidelines came after the global financial crisis in 2010, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे जब भी आते हैं, आफ्टर इवेल्युएटिंग द करंट इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो, बेसिकली वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो, दे जनरली प्रोवाइड सर्टेन सेट ऑफ गाइडलाइंस कि इफ यू फॉलो दीज पर्टिकुलर नॉर्म्स सो इट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल. तो जिसमें इनको हम लोग पिलर्स के नाम से जानते हैं आज के केस में. सो वी हैव थ्री पिलर्स ऑफ बेसल. Pillar 1, minimum capital requirement. Pillar 2 is the supervisory review process, and Pillar 3 is market discipline. So what was the agenda? Increase the gold reserve? No. And increase the mergers? No. Enhance the quality and stability of financial system? So option C will be right answer for this particular one. Very simple one. The Basel Accord are international regulatory framework developed by BCBS to ensure that financial institutions maintain enough capital reserve, absorb unexpected losses. By implementing these standards, the goal was to strengthen the resilience and stability of banking system, thereby fostering a more robust and transparent financial environment. Next one, guys. Local area bank are small size bank in India that operate within specified geographic areas, usually covering two or three contiguous district. The main objective of introducing local area banks was क्या है आपका? Basically to create the financial inclusion. So compete with international bank? No. Provide banking services exclusively to large corporate? No. Promote stock market? No. Enhance financial inclusion? Yes. By extending banking services in underbanked and unbanked areas. So option 4 और D will be right answer for this given question. ठीक है, बहुत simple है आपका. We have number of examples as well. Next one. DFI, domestic financial institution, are specialized institution that provide financial support for economic development, primarily in industrial and infrastructure and agriculture sector. So if we talk about these three areas, in industrial, we have SIDBI, we have IDBI or ICSA as well, right? Infrastructure, newly built one, that NAFED, and agriculture, the Apex one, NABARD, right? So one of the main objective of DFI is prioritize profit maximization, promote and finance project that contribute to economic growth and development. True. Exclusively invest in high risk. No. Focus solely on short term. No. Okay? So usually they lend in long term period. Usually they do refinancing through the commercial banks, right? So B will be correct answer for this particular question. Very simple again. Next one. What does a demand schedule represent? ठीक है, so demand schedule आपका represent क्या कहता है? It is with the prospectus of the customers. ठीक है, so at different price level, the quantity demanded by the consumers, right? So the relationship between supply and price, no, it is supply curve. The quantity of product consumers are willing to purchase at various price. So option C. जैसे आपका how we frame this particular chart, this is downward sloping. ठीक है, this is your demand curve. ठीक है, so this is your price and this is your quantity demanded. So if price is supposed at 5, so quantity demanded are, let's say, at this level. ठीक है, so this is 1, and if prices are 50, so your quantity demanded it is this. ठीक है, so suppose that this is 1 lakh and this is supposed at 10,000. So this is the slope or relation which is generally we get to know through the demand slope, right? So the quantity of a product consumer are willing to purchase at various price. जैसे 5, अगर price 5 होगा तो 1 लाख, और अगर आपका 50 होगा तो 10,000. ठीक है, so that is the one. A demand schedule deficit, the quantity demanded by consumer at different price level. The inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Next one. Bad banks refer to a financial entity that is created to buy and hold non-performing assets from other financial institutions. Especially, the initial objective was public sector bank. The primary purpose of a bad bank is, so what basically bad bank do? So they are kind of ARCs, asset reconstruction companies होते हैं वैसे, ठीक है? They generally purchase bad loans or non-performing asset from bank. They generally pay around upfront of 15% to the bank and remaining 85% at the time of recovery. इस तरीके से इनका आपका deal होता है, ठीक है? So generate immediate profit for shareholders? No. Invest in high risk. Segregate and manage toxic asset, improving the selling bank balance sheet. So आगे जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. So option C will be right answer for this one. So the primary purpose of bad bank is to segregate and manage toxic asset, improving the selling bank balance sheet. By purchasing non-performing asset from other financial institution, or bad bank isolate these problematic assets, allowing the selling bank to clear them off its balance sheet. The bad bank itself may work on restructuring or liquidating the toxic asset to recover as much value as possible, right? Next one. Which of the following is the correct statement with respect to classical theory of rate of interest? Again, so it is something related to individual, how their consumption done. The interest rate is determined by supply and demand money. No. The interest rate is set by a central bank. The interest rate is determined by productivity of capital and thriftiness of individuals. Okay, so this is option C will be right answer. The interest rate is completely no. So option C will be right answer. The interest rate is determined by the productivity of capital and thriftiness of individual. So that means classical theory of interest rate, according to this theory, the rate of interest is determined by the productivity of capital, which influence the demand for the capital, and thriftiness of individual, which influence the supply of capital. Next one. Ease, enhance access and service excellence agenda was launched by, so it was an initiative of Government of India in 2018, and the current version was launched in 2024 itself. and it is known as East 7.0. ठीक है, तो ये इसको थोड़ा करंट अपडेट भी कीजिएगा. In your book they have till East 5.0 only. So Reserve Bank, no, Government of India 2018 to facilitate the role of public sector bank in the Indian economy. So B will be right answer for this particular one. Okay. So Enhance Access and Service Excellence agenda was launched by Government of India in 2018 with an aim to facilitate the role of public sector bank in Indian economy. The EASE agenda is a reform initiative of public sector bank with the objective of institutionalizing clean and smart banking. It was launched by Government of India, Department of Financial Services, to strengthen public sector bank and it to improve the performances. The aim is to enhance access and service excellence by improving the customer experiences, leveraging fintech, financial technology, boosting credit of offtake and deepening financial inclusion as well. तो जो आपका ईस्ट 7.0 है उसकी जो 5 की एरियाज एंड अदर्स वो हमने भी पढ़े थे, डिटेल में आपका पढ़े थे, तो उनको जरूर देखें. ठीक है, this is a collective investment scheme similar to a mutual fund which enable direct investment of money from individual and institutional investors in infrastructure project to earn a small portion of the income as a return. ठीक है, so it is known as INVIT, right? So it is designed to pool a small sum of money from a number of investors to invest in asset that give cash flow over a period of time. Basically, real estate properties, they generally use this particular this kind of funds to construct their project. After selling, they generally return their money, right? So REITs, this is similar to REITs, so it is known as Infrastructure Investment Trust, INVIT will be right answer for this one. Next one, okay, this is it. So guys, we did around 20 question in this particular set. I hope you guys are able to answer these particular question. So one suggestion ki go through the foundation part, especially for this IE&IFS subject. ठीक है, देखो ये कितना भी टफ बनाया जा सकता है. ठीक है, अगर उनको पास रेट को अपना 15% to 20% रखना होगा, they'll definitely do that. ठीक है, so do not take any chance. So first go through the concept classes. We have already done with almost done with the concept classes. तो वो videos available हैं. Go through those particular one on regular basis, right? थोड़ा सा holidays चल रहे हैं, festive season है. Spend time with your family, that is again must. But थोड़ा सा टाइम अपना फाइंड आउट करें फॉर दीज पर्टिकुलर स्टडीज ऑल्सो, राइट? सो कहीं ना कहीं आने वाले समय में आप लोग अच्छा परफॉर्म कर पाएँ. ठीक है, तो आई होप यू गाइज आर एंजॉइंग दीज पर्टिकुलर सेशन. सो डू शेयर योर वैल्यूएबल फीडबैक एज वेल. And if you like the session, please do like and do share with your friends, right? So this is our Telegram group. So I'll share this particular PDF in this particular group as well. And if you have any suggestion in all, so feel free to share. So now I'll see you tomorrow at same time, and every day I'll come up with a set of question, and we'll have mixed question based on all the 4 modules, right? So this is it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. So bye bye, take care all, and all the very best for your exam preparation. Thank you.